My name is Gail McGillis, and I'd like to talk today about suicide. I'm certainly not an authority on the subject and don't claim to be, but my husband committed suicide, and at the time I read everything I could get my hands on with regard to suicide to try and understand the complexities of it and why somebody would commit suicide. And although I don't understand the utter hopelessness that someone must feel in order to commit suicide, what I do know is what happens after to the family, to the survivors, to all the people that loved the individual that committed suicide. And I think that's the story that is, it just is something that goes on forever. And it's, many people start playing the blame game, and that is utterly destructive to everybody. The blame game is, it's his fault or her fault or someone else's fault. And that just goes on forever, and it destroys families, it destroys relationships, it just never seems to end. And it's a great tragedy, because when somebody does commit suicide, that's when families should draw together and be able to lean on one another and offer support and kindness and, to get through a horrible time. And unfortunately, I don't think that happens. And that's another tragedy. I hope that people that are contemplating suicide understand that the world is not better off without them. It's no matter what the person's station in life, all people are valuable and all people are missed by those that love them and care for them. And it is just so awful to go on with your life, because the sadness never goes away. And it's always there as a reminder. And many people blame themselves. If I'd only done this, if I'd only done that. Well, in my opinion, that's the road to complete insanity, because I don't think anything changes. What we need to change are people's perception of suicide. I think they must think that that is the answer to all their problems. And if they just didn't have that, they're better off not even being around. But so many young people are giving up their lives. So young, they haven't even lived a portion of their life. And it's so tragic. I think the best thing that I can say for anybody that's going through this is to get counseling, get the whole family in counseling. I know that's really hard because it's expensive, but I think it's something that is absolutely vital to the healing process and going on with your life, and not letting one action destroy so many lives. I know that I didn't get in the blame game of blaming myself or blaming others. I just blamed my husband, but I had a horrible anger towards him. And several years after he died, my sister-in-law took me to his grave, and I was so angry and just so upset about the whole thing. And when I stood there and I looked down at his grave, I thought, I'm so angry, and he doesn't care. He's gone, and it's really stupid to go on feeling so angry. And I think on that day, I started to heal, and it helped me to get on with my life. Also, I got into therapy, had a wonderful therapist, and I think that helped enormously, because burying it in your heart and keeping silent about it only makes it fester and grow until you can't deal with it anymore. And getting it out in the open and talking about it is so beneficial in so many ways to yourself and to others, because anything that's out in the open and talked about is much less ugly than something that's hidden and kept secret. And so I hope that the people out there that are watching this and maybe sometime in their life contemplating suicide, I hope they stop to think of the people they leave behind who will suffer tremendously. And, even if it's only your old granny who loved you, it's a tremendous loss for her that she feels every day of her life. And that's a great sadness. So I hope that if one person hears this message and realizes that they can get through this bad time and move on with their life, then that is certainly very, very rewarding. And I thank you.